Coming up on show 387, a Model X owner blames Autopilot on his crash. But what really happened? The Porsche Taycan is spotted / on purpose with an automated charge flap opening, and why Renault's promoting its electric vans. Those stories and more coming up on today's show. Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. Wherever you are in the world, welcome to EV News Daily. It's Wednesday, the 13th of February. My name's Martyn Lee, and I've been through every EV story I can find today and picked out the ones I think you need to know about. As always, thank you to everyone who supports this show, and right back at the beginning, the reason why I decided to say to people, if you would like to contribute to the costs of making this programme, I'd be very grateful, was because many months ago, it was the team at MyEV.com that said we'd like to help support you. And thank you very much to them. They've built the world's first marketplace all about electric vehicles, buying and selling in the USA. You're very lucky to have that as a website. Welcome to our newest member of the gang supporting the show as well. That would be a new producer. His name is Richard. Well, Richard Linney. Actually, the notification came through yesterday as I was just walking into the studio, but I didn't want to get anything wrong. Wanted to make sure I had his name correct. Nothing worse than saying someone's name wrong, is it? So Richard Linney, thank you for waiting 24 hours for me to say thank you to you for supporting. And another supporter of the podcast has reminded me that he is getting back into his YouTube channel. His name is Alex, and on YouTube, his channel is Alex's Universe. Now, I've put a link to his show in the show notes, the top and the bottom as well. It's got a short link on the YouTube now, so you can see that. He makes EV videos, and he's made a brilliant series of videos about the Model X 100D. Yes, the Big Daddy. And many more videos as well. Go check him out and what Alex is doing. Hey, talking about the Model X, that segues nicely into this. The driver of a lovely Model X claimed that his car veered off the road and crashed after its autopilot system actually malfunctioned. Well, the accident happened late at night on Sunday, 2 nights ago in New Jersey. According to Digital Trends, the owner's identity hasn't been released yet. That's not important, though. The New Jersey law enforcement officials who arrived at the scene at the accident say he wasn't hurt and he wasn't charged, and it's the good thing that the Tesla Model X did what it's designed to do in the very first instance, keep its occupants safe, and that's why Tesla cars have the highest safety rating of any others. Well, the Model X sustained significant damage, however. When questioned about what happened, the driver replied that he was travelling with autopilot turned on. That's Tesla's suite of semi-autonomous driving aids. The car got confused because of the lane markings, he says, according to the police officers who spoke to the news website NJ.com. That'll be NewJersey.com. The document added that the driver told officers he tried to regain control of the vehicle, but he simply couldn't override the autopilot. I have an emailed statement from Tesla to read out in a moment. I don't know about you, but my experience of autopilot in Tesla is actually, no, there's two. Okay, so I'll divide this into two. A tap on the brakes, the slightest tap on the brakes will disengage it, and you are back in total control. I think that sometimes with the steering wheel, people need to get used to the amount of force to apply, because you have to keep your hand on the wheel. Clearly, there has to be, with Teslas, a little bit of resistance, otherwise it would forever be turning it. It would sense your hand on the wheel, it would turn autopilot off. So, I think sometimes people are surprised how much pressure they have to put on the wheel before it will disengage. But certainly a tap on the brakes will turn it off. Here's the statement from Tesla. Safety is the top priority at Tesla, and we engineer and build our cars with this in mind. We also ask our customers to exercise safe behaviour when using our vehicles, including following the car's instructions for remaining alert and present when using autopilot, and to be prepared to take control at all times. Since we launched Autopilot in 2015, we are not aware of a single instance in which Autopilot refused to disengage. End quote. End statement. This is interesting because in a future autonomous driving car world where cars are set up for more connectivity, and that's not just Teslas, whether you're driving the new Mercedes-Benz EQC, the Audi e-tron, the Jaguar I-Pace, they all have so much data logging that you won't be able to say, oh, it was the car's fault, because the automakers will be able to go, well, we've looked at the log files and I don't think so. I don't know what happened in this case, but if you don't know, Teslas do log every single thing. They are permanently connected to the net, for instance, so they're always sharing data. Their cameras are always capturing data, and they're always sending data back to the mothership. So if this driver claims that Autopilot refused to turn off when he hit the brakes and grabbed hold of the wheel, they'll certainly know exactly when the brake pedal was pushed and the force exerted on the wheel. And that's one of the interesting things about cases over the years. They make the press to begin with. It just takes a little while to work things out. Reminds me of a very famous case, actually, and this isn't about data logging, but this is about a case where a guy picked up his Tesla and then it made the news because it was in flames on the freeway. And, of course, all the news organisations are going to report on electric cars bursting into flames. It took some time, but Tesla got the car back and investigated fully, and they found a bullet had been fired into the battery pack. How does that happen? But clearly, all of these stories need a little bit of time, a little bit of investigation, and the truth will out. Right, moving on to the Porsche. And the Porsche Taycan electric car has been spied in Scandinavia, spotted in the frosty, wintry climate of northern Scandinavia. This particular Porsche Taycan is charging up to test its ability to add miles in the cold, reports Steven Loveday for InsideEVs.com. Things like the charge rate in the cold can be affected. Even the performance of even regen can be affected in extreme cold with lithium-ion batteries. Recent news indicates the Taycan may be delayed a little bit as the automaker attempts to remove a few costs from the car. Regardless of all that, Porsche continues to test its Taycan in the public. The latest series of shots focus on the charging and the car's charging port. Automedia notes that complete with tailpipes to hide its EV intentions. Porsche, we're not fooled by the tailpipes anymore. I mean, we never were. The spies who had the cameras out caught the car undergoing charging at a public station in northern Scandinavia. The Taycan will be purposed as a Model S rival, complete with a battery pack that will hold more than 500 kilometres, but particularly, not the biggest battery pack in the world, but particularly able to charge very quickly. Porsche claims they're a front-runner in introducing the 800-volt system. However, it will require special chargers to achieve those remarkable charging times. And Simon at Teslarati says that in a different recent sighting, this time an Italian publication was allowed to take photos of the Taycan's automated charge port door in action, as well as the vehicle's front trunk, or as in the EV community we would call it the frunk. Unlike other sightings of the vehicle, it was the Porsche engineers who were with the electric car at the time kind enough to allow this particular news publication to take their photos. The publication was DMove.it, an Italian publication, DMove.it, or IT. The short video of the Taycan test mule also shows that charge port door opening. The website decided to take pictures of the bodywork, the frunk as well. Not the biggest frunk, not the smallest, not the biggest. Not many cars do have it, actually. The BMW i3 has had it for years. Every iteration of the i3 has had a small frunk. Not always the best waterproofed, I've heard. If you're an i3 owner, let me know. Also, the Jaguar I-Pace, that's got one in the front. Of course, all the Teslas have. The Tesla Model X is huge. You could fit many, many big things in the Model X frunk. And then some cars, of course, are built on a platform that is meant for fossil cars or EVs or hybrids, and so a lot of the time the air conditioning and all that fills the front of the car, the crash crumple zone. So many EVs don't have that frunk area. Taycan, not the biggest, very deep, but not the biggest. As for that automated charge flap, let me explain. You know, on nearly all EVs, the charge flap opens out. Either you flick it out, it's automated out. The new e-tron has got an automated, it's kind of a mechanical charge flap that comes out and down. What does the Mercedes-Benz EQC have? I need to go look at some videos. The Porsche Taycan, for instance, this slides up like, you know, a bit like a sliding door slides sidewards kind of into itself. This is a flap that goes inside the car, but it slides straight up. It disappears up. And so this is very cool. It's very space age, very sci-fi. I don't know what causes it, whether it's the approaching, you know, like when you approach a Tesla with the supercharger cable, it knows it's coming, yeah? And it unlocks the charge flap. Whether that's what caused the thing to slide up and inside the car, or whether there was actually a button being pushed on the key fob that I couldn't see. Anyway, I've tweeted out on my Twitter, which is @EVNewsDaily, a GIF of that if you want to go have a look. And I've put a link to those articles in the show notes. From supercars to practical cars. And this time let's talk about vans. Hello to Lewis. Now, Lewis is at the EV Experience Centre here in the UK. If you haven't heard about it, just a very quick digression. It is a manufacturer agnostic place in a shopping centre that don't sell you EVs, but they have them, as many as they can, on display. You can take one out for a short period of time or over several days, and you can just go learn. It's a learning centre, and that's what the EV Experience Centre is all about, supported by the country's biggest charging network, BP Chargemaster. Now Lewis has sent me some pictures, very kindly sent me some pictures on my DMs on Twitter of their new vehicles on display. AM Online reports that Renault's now showcasing its range of commercial EVs at the Experience Centre over the next week. So from yesterday to the 17th, the Kangoo ZE33 and the Twizy Cargo are displayed online in the showroom at the moment, operated by Chargemaster in the middle of the shopping centre in Milton Keynes. Product experts from Renault are going to be in store to give you advice on any prospective customers, but this isn't a sales mission. This is about education. Within the shopping centre as well, they're also going to have the Renault Master ZE on display alongside a Twizy photo booth. There's going to be test drives available for the entire range, including the Renault Zoe, not the new one, the current one. The move aims to build awareness of Renault EVs, particularly vans, which is more relevant really, as many more towns and cities are concerned about their air quality, and many cities actually moving towards either tariffs to enter them or some of them outright banning anything, even hybrids. Let's move on to the Ionity network. According to a Norwegian website, Elbil, elbil.no, one of the latest Ionity fast charging stations in Nyborg in Denmark is the first to be enabled with 350 kilowatt power, says Mark Kane for Inside EVs. And if you're thinking, hang on a minute, aren't the Ionity network chargers all meant to be 350 kilowatts? Yes, they are installed to be capable, but they're not enabled yet. Why? Well, it's all to do with keeping the cables cool. The chargers installed so far have been limited to 150 kilowatts. About that, I think. Some slightly faster. But now it seems that the first liquid-cooled cables have been installed. This was always the plan, by the way. Don't get me wrong. I'm not insinuating this was any kind of error. It's quite a notable achievement and a big improvement. Even 150 kilowatts is fast, but 350, no car on the market can take it yet. We go back to the Porsche Taycan. When it's on the market, it will be able to take it, but an increasing amount of cars are going to be on the market with those CCS combo plug chargers that can take up to 200, and 350 kilowatts is really making sure that those chargers are future-proof. Those 800-volt batteries coming from companies like Porsche will make full use of them. I'm looking forward to it. I reckon it'll be Bjorn Nyland, as it's Denmark and he's Norway. I reckon he'll be the first one to get to it in a car that can take a reasonably fast charge speed, just to see what happens. Moving to the US, and EVgo, the largest public fast-charging network, announced that last year, in 2018, EV drivers used the public fast-charging network to drive more than 75 million miles. That's a huge growth, 88% over the previous year. With more than 1,100 public fast chargers, it covers 34 states and 66 metro markets across the country. EVgo serves 125,000 customers in those states who drive a full range, all of them, every EV that's got a plug socket. But that number, right, that's the number that makes me so optimistic about the future. 75 million miles clean driving in the last year alone by this one charging network, EVgo. 75 million miles. And I know that even if you electrified every single mode of transport in the entire world, yes, oil use is still going to be very high with things like domestic and industrial commercial heating and oil use in everything from plastics to things that we use now every day. But still, it can reduce so much to do with the air quality and to do with children with asthma and their young lungs being developed either at an abnormally slow rate or just not, that just doesn't happen, and kids growing up with long-term illnesses because of the crap that we're putting in the air. 75 million miles done on electricity. This one network alone, that is awesome. If I could give you a massive round of applause. Absolutely would, but it wouldn't work very well on a podcast. Let's move on to Skoda, or maybe I should say Skoda, which I believe is correct, but then whenever I say Skoda, I inevitably get someone on the YouTube comments going, you said it wrong, you said so. Skoda will show an electric SUV concept at the Geneva Motor Show. Yes, it's a concept, bear with me, called the Vision IV. We know that Skoda is planning to produce an electric SUV based on the parent group, VW Group's MEB platform, and it's this concept that will preview that incoming production model. It's going to go on to headline Skoda's push to offer 10 electric or hybrid models by 2022, reports Evo. Now, while Skoda has remained coy as to the production date of the coupe body shape, a more traditionally shaped SUV is the one that will arrive first, kicking off a whole suite of electric MEB models from the parent group and implemented by one of their brands, Skoda. One of the stablemates, if you like. I'll put a link to Evo in the show notes. If you haven't sent me your thoughts yet on question of the week, I would love to hear from you. Lots of ways to get in contact. Here's the question first, though, set as always by the team at myev.com. Are you part of an EV club or association, either online, like a Facebook group, or maybe part of a physical community? Do you think there's more reason for electric car owners to be part of a community compared to gas cars, or not at all? I'd love to know your thoughts. My personal email is always open. It's hello@evnewsdaily.com. That's hello@evnewsdaily.com. You can leave a comment on myev.com or on the Facebook or YouTube comments if you want to. There are now 181 patrons of the podcast supporting me. Thank you so much for your generosity. I'd love to read your name out next, patreon.com/evnewsdaily for that. And if you want to download any of the previous episodes for free, there are 386 of them online, and we can do it for free thanks to the Patreon support. If you want to subscribe to new ones, hit that subscribe button. We put the audio on YouTube as well. If you have a podcast app that you want to subscribe on, you can even get the RSS feed direct from the website, which is evnewsdaily.com. Just means you get it first and free, and you get it automatically as well. Come and say hi on the socials by searching EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you tomorrow. And remember, there's no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.